This one nutrition fact could change your health forever. Or you've tried to follow the rules, right? A dozen different diets, 100 different tips, and you're still confused, frustrated, and not getting the results you want. Count every calorie. Cut out all the carbs. Never touch fat. Eat 6 tiny meals a day. The advice is endless. It's always contradictory, and honestly, it's probably left you feeling like you're the one who failed. What if I told you that 99% of that advice is just noise? And that focusing on one simple idea could be the key to finally transforming your health for good. This isn't another diet. It's not some miserable, restrictive plan designed to make you hate food. It's a fundamental shift in how you see everything you eat. It's the one nutrition truth that, once it really clicks, will cut through all the nonsense and change your health forever. Stick with me because we're about to make all of this simple again. Section 1. The agitation, the old way, and why it fails. Let's just be real for a second. The way we've been taught to approach food is completely broken. We've been led down a path of complication and restriction that practically guarantees we'll all fail. Just think about the usual suspects. First up, obsessive calorie counting. You spend your days treating your phone like a food diary, plugging in every last almond, and living and dying by a number that knows absolutely nothing about the quality of your food or how it makes you feel. A 100-calorie snack pack of sad processed crackers gets the same checkmark as 100 calories of nutrient-packed almonds. The app might say you're winning, but your body knows the difference. This whole process turns eating one of life's greatest pleasures into a stressful math equation. It's exhausting, and let's be honest, it's totally unsustainable for most of us. Then you've got the fad diets that turn entire food groups into villains. For a while, it was fat is the enemy. So the shelves filled up with low-fat everything, which was really just code for packed with sugar and garbage to make it taste like something. Then the pendulum swung hard, and suddenly carbs were the devil. People started fearing fruit, for crying out loud. This constant flip-flopping isn't based on solid science. It's based on whatever sells books this year. It creates a culture of fear around food and ignores the simple reality that our bodies need a balance of all the macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs to actually work right. This vicious cycle, restricting, craving, and then inevitably falling off the wagon, leads straight to the dreaded yo-yo effect. You lose a few pounds, sure, but you feel deprived and miserable. Eventually, you just can't take it anymore. You go back to your old habits. And the weight comes roaring back, usually bringing a few friends with it. This is not a failure of your willpower. Let me say that again. It is a failure of the system. This old way is designed to fail because it works against your body, not with it, leaving you more confused than ever. Section 2, the turning point, the one thing. So, what if we just took that whole complicated playbook and tossed it right out the window? What if we ignored all the noise and focused on the one principle that underpins nearly every single healthy, sustainable way of eating on the planet? Here it is. This is the one idea you need to burn into your brain. Build your meals around protein and whole, minimally processed foods. That's it. It's not some complex rule. It's a filter. It's the lens you can look through to make every single food decision. It doesn't need an app, a calculator, or a list of forbidden foods. It is about shifting your entire focus from what you cut in half to the quality of what you can. Think of it as a total paradigm shift. The old way was about restriction and numbers. The new way is about nourishment and quality. Instead of asking, how many calories are in this? You start asking, how close is this to something that grew in the ground or had a face? How energizing and satisfying will this be? This single principle is so powerful because it automatically starts to fix most of the common dietary problems. When you prioritize whole foods, things like fruits, veggies, lean meats, fish, eggs, nuts, and whole grains, you naturally start crowding out the junk. Ultra-processed foods with all their added sugars, weird fats, and sky-high sodium get pushed off your plate without you even trying to restrict them. And when you make protein the star of every meal, you lay the foundation for feeling full, having stable energy, and building a strong, capable body. This isn't a diet. It's a strategy for life that works with your body's signals, not against them. Section 3, the why, the science behind the simplicity. I know, It sounds way too simple to be the real answer, but the science backing this up is overwhelming. Let's get into the why, so you can see just how powerful this is. First, let's talk about ultra-processed foods, or UPFS. This term describes industrial creations, think packaged snacks, sugary drinks, frozen dinners, and most fast food. These things are scientifically engineered to be hyper-palatable, which is a fancy way of saying they were designed to hijack your brain as fullness signals and make you want to eat more and more. In fact, recent data from the CDC shows that over half the calories Americans eat come from these UPFS. Studies have consistently linked high intake of these foods to a greater risk of obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even dying earlier. Get this, a groundbreaking clinical trial from the National Institutes of Health put people on 2 different diets. One was all ultra-processed foods, the other was all minimally processed foods. Here's the kicker. Both diets were perfectly matched for total calories, protein, fat, and carbs. The participants could eat as much as they wanted. The results were stunning. On the ultra-processed diet, people automatically ate about 500 calories more per day and gained weight. When they switched to the whole foods diet, they spontaneously ate less, lost weight, and reported feeling more in control of their cravings. They lost body fat without even trying, simply by changing the quality of their food. Why? Because whole foods are full of fiber, water, and nutrients. They physically take up more space in your stomach and digest slower, sending powerful "I'm full" signals to your brain. Now, let's add the second part of the principle, prioritizing protein. When it comes to managing your weight and feeling your best, getting enough protein is arguably the most powerful lever you can pull. First, protein is incredibly satiating. When you eat a protein-rich meal, your body releases hormones that signal to your brain that you're full, which crushes hunger and cravings for hours. Studies consistently show that people on higher protein diets tend to eat fewer calories overall, not because they white-knuckling it, but because they just don't feel as hungry. Second, protein has a high thermic effect of food, TEF. This just means your body burns a significant number of calories, just breaking it down around 20 to 30% of the protein calories you eat, which is way higher than for fats or carbs. It's like a small built-in metabolic boost at every single meal. Finally, protein is absolutely essential for building and maintaining muscle, especially when you're losing weight. You want to lose fat, not your hard-earned muscle. A higher protein intake helps protect that muscle, which is crucial because muscle tissue burns more calories than fat tissue, even when you're just sitting on the couch. When you combine these 2 strategies, whole foods plus protein, you create an unstoppable synergy. You're eating foods that are naturally satisfying and nutrient-dense, while also keeping your metabolism humming and hunger at bay. It's a formula for feeling great and achieving a healthy body composition that can actually last. Section 4. The how, putting the principle into practice. Knowing the why is great, but the how is what really changes your life. The best part of this whole approach is how simple it is to apply. You don't need a calculator, you just need to learn how to build a better plate. Let's walk through what a day could look like. For breakfast, instead of a sugary cereal or a plain bagel, think protein and fiber. How about 3 scrambled eggs with some spinach and a side of berries? Or maybe a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with a sprinkle of nuts, seeds, and fruit. Both meals are loaded with protein and nutrients that will keep you full and sharp all morning. For lunch, ditch the flimsy sandwich on white bread and bag of chips. Let's build a massive, satisfying salad. Start with a huge bed of mixed greens, then pile on colorful veggies like bell peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes. Now for the star, your protein. Add grilled chicken, a can of tuna, or a cup of chickpeas. Top it off with a healthy fat like half an avocado or an olive oil-based dressing. This is a powerhouse meal that won't give you that 2 p.m. slump. For dinner, forget the frozen pizza or the pasta with sugary jarred sauce. The formula is simple. Pick a lean protein, a fibrous vegetable or 2, and a smart carb. Think baked salmon with a side of roasted broccoli and a small sweet potato. Or a hearty lentil soup packed with veggies with a slice of real whole grain bread for dipping. See the pattern? Every single meal is centered around a quality protein source and surrounded by whole foods, mostly from plants. Here are a few simple hacks to make this second nature. Shop the perimeter. When you hit the grocery store, try to spend most of your time on the outer ring. That's where you find the fresh stuff: produce, meat, fish, eggs. The middle aisles are where the ultra-processed landmines are usually hiding, so venture in there with a plan. Read the ingredients, not the numbers, for a second. Ignore the calorie count on the front and flip the package over to the ingredients list. Is it short and full of words you recognize? Awesome. Is it a novel written by a food scientist? That's a huge red flag for a UPF. Make simple swaps. You don't have to burn your old life to the ground overnight. Start with easy upgrades. Swap that sugary morning latte for a black coffee with a splash of real milk. Trade your afternoon chips for a handful of almonds or an apple. Swap out white rice for brown rice or quinoa. Section 5. The proof, a relatable story. Let me tell you about a guy named Alex. For years, Alex was stuck on the diet roller coaster. He'd tried it all. He did low carb until the thought of another egg made him sick. He counted every last calorie, feeling racked with guilt over a single cookie. Every time he'd lose 10 pounds, feel completely burnt out, and then gain 15 back. He was convinced he just didn't have enough discipline. Then he stumbled upon this simple idea: just focus on whole foods and protein. He was skeptical. It just sounded too easy. But he was at his wit's end and figured, what if I got to lose? So for breakfast, he swapped his usual pastry for scrambled eggs. For lunch, instead of hitting the drive-thru, he packed a big salad with grilled chicken. For dinner, he started making simple meals like roasted chicken and veggies. He wasn't counting a single thing. He wasn't banning any foods. If he wanted a piece of dark chocolate after dinner, he had it. But a funny thing happened. Those intense, overwhelming cravings that used to sabotage him, they started to fade. He actually felt full after eating. He had way more energy. A few months went by and his clothes started feeling loose. He finally stepped on the scale and was floored. He was down 20 pounds and he hadn't even felt like he was on a diet. For the first time in his adult life, he felt like he was in control. He wasn't fighting his body anymore. He was finally working with it. Alex's story isn't a one-off. It's the story of anyone who decides to stop chasing complicated rules and starts focusing on the simple, powerful act of giving their body what it actually needs. We've been sold a lie that getting healthy has to be complicated. It doesn't. The endless rules, the contradictory advice, the confusing labels, it's all just noise designed to sell you stuff you don't need. The simple, unchanging truth is this: your body's wired to thrive on real whole food. When you give it the building blocks it needs in the form of nutrient-dense foods and enough protein, it knows exactly what to do. You don't have to battle your cravings or live in a constant state of hunger. You can build a healthy, lean, and energetic body by just shifting your focus to this one core principle. So I want you to give yourself permission to forget the 99% of nutrition nonsense that just doesn't move the needle. Focus on the 1% that does. Build your meals around protein. Fill the rest of your plate with a rainbow of whole foods, especially plants. If you just do that, you will fundamentally change your health for the better. If this video helped clear up some of the confusion for you, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. My whole goal is to make health simple and straightforward. And now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me the single most frustrating piece of nutrition advice you've ever gotten. Let's call out the nonsense together.